I'm going to be in Washington for a week, so I'm going to be doing a couple day hikes. One of the longer ones is probably around 9 miles, but on average it'll be between 4 and 7 miles a day. So nothing too crazy, but not just a walk in the park. As a result, I wanted to pack my hiking gear since I'll be flying. I won't be driving, so I can't just throw a bunch of stuff into the truck and adjust as needed. And I wanted to show kind of what I have and why I've gotten there through the experience that I've hiking in the Carolinas and Georgia and Florida. Granted, that's not exactly Washington, but the lessons should carry over. That said, I don't have as well of wilderness type survival skills as some people do, but we're also not going to be doing backcountry hiking, so the gear would be slightly different for that. So we're not going to be looking at a lot of like emergency in reaches, that type of stuff, because they're not going to be that far back. That said, I want to start with the bag. This is the Kifaru Ontero. This is the original one. I know they've updated it since. I do have a pouch on the side, and I have a Nalgene bottle pouch on the side. This pack is great. I've used it for turkey hunting. I've used it for hiking, all sorts of stuff. I've also used it for hiking in Colorado. The only complaint I have of this bag is the straps are not really great for long hikes, and you can't really switch them out. I did talk to Kifaru when I was at TAC in Tennessee, and they said there's really no way to switch them out. So that's really the only downside. Other than that, this pack is really good. Next, Nalgene bottle. This is basically standard across the board. The only thing is, since these are plastic, you can't use them to boil water if you have to, but I'm not carrying a water boiling mechanism, so it doesn't really matter. The one thing I do suggest is this cap. This is the human gear cap replacement. The nice thing about this is it fits the wide mouth, which makes it easier to clean, but it also has this small, easier to drink from spout, which if you've ever drank from a Nalgene on a really hot day, the chances of you spilling it all over yourself is actually really high. So this is probably one of the best investments I've made to the Nalgene. And these things last forever. I've had this thing for 15 years. It just don't break. After that, I have a microfiber cloth. This is just a regular towel. Dry yourself off, dry off camera gear, clean hands. You never know. That sort of stuff. After that, we have walking sticks. These are carbon fiber. These are the backcountry hunting by SNS Archery. They work pretty well. I used to avoid carrying sticks because since I do have bad knees and bad hips and stuff, this is tremendous when you're coming downhill, especially if you have a lot of wet slopes, because that stuff is slippery and it's not good. This stuff, let's go on the outside. I should probably put the stuff in the pack as I'm going through it. That goes there. Next, I have my water bladder. This is the Osprey 100 ounce. I like big water bladders. I get very thirsty. I drink a lot of water. I've gone through this in a day, believe it or not. Works great, no complaints. Considering water, I also carry the Sawyer water filtration system. Now you can use something like a life straw, which makes it easy to drink out of a thing, but I'd want to get it into my bottle and then get it with some iodine pills, which I'll show in a second. Not really needed, but you never know. Let's say you get stuck in the woods for the night or something. It's always great to have water, especially on super hot days. Every year there's a story about people dying hiking because they didn't take water or enough water. It boggles my mind how people do that. I'll just carry this in a Ziploc bag, which I like to carry a lot of Ziploc bags because you never know when it rains, and I'll get to that in a second. This, right, straight back in the bag. Now, the one thing I'm not going to talk about is clothes much, but I'm going to talk about a couple things. I do carry this style hat. To this day, I do not know what they're called, but they work really well. The nice thing about them is it's full coverage around the side. The thing about it is it sucks if it gets hot, because it gets really hot under these things, and that's what just a regular hat is for. So this also in the bag. I also will be carrying a beanie since it's the Northwest. It's middle of March. Yeah, so it might be a little cold. Never know, it's just a merino wool beanie, so if it gets wet, it'll still be nice and warm. Now, one thing I did add to this for this hike is a rain jacket. Now, this is a brightly colored rain jacket because this is going to be my just truck rain jacket. I have gotten rained on more often than not. You never see it coming. Sunny day, and then it starts raining, and ponchos don't work, and being soaking wet absolutely sucks. And if it's slightly cold, chances of hypothermia are much higher, or elevated. So this will be the first time I'll be packing a rain jacket, especially since it's Northwest. It's always raining, apparently. We have that. Sunscreen. Now this is a big bottle, but sunscreen is very important. I usually hike with long sleeves and coverage and whatnot because I don't like wearing sunscreen. But if it's extended hike, the last thing you want is to have burns and have that rubbing. It's you don't want that. Also, bug spray. Now, if this is the can that I have in my garage, I usually like to have a small pump spray. You can use the wipes. That stuff works really well. Having grown up in Florida and done a lot of stuff in Florida, you can't get enough DEET in your bug spray. Just bug spray all the time, every time. So going back to water, I do always carry iodine tablets. Again, you never know when you might run out of water. This will basically sterilize anything. It's not going to taste great, but you're not going to die. Another thing I always like to carry is carabiners. I carry at least 3. These are rated for rock climbing, so if you do get carabiners, you want to make sure they're rated for actual weight, not the stuff that you get at like the big box stores on the aisles that are meant for keys and don't support anything. Necessary? No. But I always carry them because sometimes it's nice to hang your bag from a tree. If everything's wet, the ground's wet, you don't want your bag to get wet. Hanging anything from a tree, sometimes, God forbid, you need to rappel or something like that, comes in handy. These would just go strapped on the outside of the bag, easy access. Next, I have Leukotape. Now, this is a full tape roll, so I'll have to shrink it a bit. You can also use moleskin. This stuff is unbelievable once you start getting a blister. If you have any sort of soreness or you start to feel a little hot spot, stop, put some Leukotape on it. This stuff will stay on for, I had it on through showers and stuff, maybe 4 or 5 days. It just doesn't come off. But that blister, you don't have to worry about it. However, this thing apparently for some people can cause an allergic reaction. So if you're going to get some of this, try it before you actually take it on a hike and then get stuck with it. After that, I do have trash bags, big heavy duty trash bags. I have learned that they can be invaluable for putting your bag in it if it's raining, for using as a makeshift poncho when it's raining, for putting your stuff into after the hike if it's sweaty or wet, all sorts of stuff. It's so lightweight, I don't mind carrying it. So this goes in the bag as well. Now, I do have a medical kit. This might be overkill, but I have actually used this medical kit before to help some people who were in pretty dire needs. So it has been something I carry with me all the time. This is with me in my truck. This is with me when I go hiking. I have very few things in here. I have a tourniquet. This is my darker colored one, and I'll have one over there too. Some gauze. I have some trauma wounds. I forget what this is called. But this is to stop heavy bleeding. Hopefully that never happens, but you never know. I have gloves. I have allergy medicine, floss, eye drops, ibuprofen. That should cover most everything that you're going to run into. You have some gauze pads. Nothing too crazy, but enough to get by if something were to happen that needs medical attention. Now, I will be upgrading this at some point. I do want to have sort of that signal that it is medical in case I'm the person that's out of commission. This goes outside the bag. I put it right onto here. Buckles in. Easy access. The last thing I want to be doing is digging through my bag to get medical gear when I need it now. Lip balm. I've never used this. Actually, I take that back. I used it once. I usually don't need it, but the last thing you want is chapped lips on a long hike, and you're just like a lizard. So I carry this little pouch up top where sunglasses go, but since I wear glasses, I can't wear sunglasses to begin with. Next, I have one of these, what do they call them? The survival blankets. It's so lightweight, might as well carry it. You can use it as sort of a weird poncho if you have to. If your plastic bag is broken, wrap yourself with it. Use it for grab attention because it's a big piece of metal essentially. You never know. It's so lightweight, it's worth it. Paracord. I like to carry at least 50 feet of paracord. You never know when you're going to need it. I use it for hanging my bag, pulling things, hauling things. I've gone hiking with dogs. This has been beneficial for leash breaks or just all sorts of stuff. Paracord is incredible, also pretty lightweight. This goes in the bag as well. Now, I do have this small fire starter kit. If you've never started a fire with a fire starter kit, I recommend you try it because it is not as easy as you think it is. Since I'm not going hiking deep into the backcountry, I'm not going to be carrying crazy fire starting gear. This is just in case. You never know. This will just get keychained somewhere inside. I do also have a headlamp. I have been caught in the dark more times than I'd like to admit. This is a black diamond. Works really well, has red. If I can get it there. All sorts of different modes. I just like to make sure that the battery is charged before I take it out, because the last thing you want is a dead battery. If I was doing something longer, I'd probably carry a backup, but for this hike, I think it will be just fine. Next, I also have a Leatherman. This is just, it's a multi-tool. It works great, has a knife, all sorts of stuff. Recommend it, always carry it. I also do carry a knife. Now, my friend asked me why a big orange knife that looks ridiculous. And I told him, well, if I drop it, I want to be able to find it. This is a Ontario Knife Company, AUS 8. Nothing crazy, just a orange knife, works great. Obviously it's not as sturdy as a, oh my god, what do you call it? A non-folding knife. But it works great. I've used it hunting and all sorts of stuff, and I'll carry this in my pocket. Like I said, some ibuprofen, allergy medication. I do have some of these in my medical kit, but I will make sure I'm topped off on those, especially after a long hike. Might need some ibuprofen. Knees will hurt, hips will hurt, all sorts of stuff. Next, I have a battery pack with a charging cable. Granted, most things will last, right? But I've also been in a situation hunting that my battery is pretty much dead. And considering there's very little cell service in a lot of these areas, if you've downloaded the map and you don't have a physical map, you kind of rely on your phone. Again, the battery packs have been invaluable for me. I've used them with a long cable, ran them in my bag and just had them come out to my phone. As I'm navigating, I hate to say it, but I have gotten somewhat lost before, and that's not a fun thing, especially on trails where there's nobody. Some of these trails can get crisscrossed and it's very easy to lose track of where you are. So I like to track where I'm going with something like OnX, and the battery pack becomes indispensable. This is one of the Anchor models. I forget how big this is, but this will power a laptop for a while. So I'll take this, my cable, I'll put that in a bag just in case it rains. I do also carry another tourniquet, bright orange. This goes on the outside of my bag because if you need it now. I like to carry at least one for each person that I'm with. Since there's going to be two of us, there's two tourniquets. Hopefully nothing ever happens, but God forbid you need it. This is the thing you need, thing you want when you need it. And next, but last but not least, snacks. I like to carry protein bars. These MedRx are great. They're kind of a guilty pleasure. They're essentially candy bars with some protein. I'll also carry some smaller, just straight protein like from Costco, that sort of stuff. These will go in a plastic bag. I'll usually maybe have 2 more bars per day, just in case. You never know. It's never a bad thing to carry a little bit more food. These will just go in a Ziploc bag. Put your trash in there, carry that out with you when you're done, and that works really well. I will also carry maybe 1 or 2 more Ziploc bags for the reason of if it rains, you want to put your phone in there, your wallet in there, your things that you don't want to get wet in the bag. If you've ever been caught in a torrential downpour, you know how quickly you can get wet to the bone. It's not fun. And you want to keep your valuables nice and dry for when you need them. Granted, on this one, like I said, I'm not carrying any Tinder or anything like that, but you'd want to keep that dry as well. Battery packs, all that sort of stuff. That's pretty much it. Like I said, it's not too heavy, but I err more on the side of caution and carry a little bit more. I'm talking carrying more weight because it's essentially like rucking. It's an exercise, workout, that sort of thing. So that's pretty much what I'll be taking to Washington. I may be carrying some camera gear, in which case I may carry my camera on my shoulder strap. I don't know, I've never really hiked with my camera before, so it'll be a new experience. And I'll go over that in a debrief probably in another video. But that's pretty much what I carry. I'll leave links to everything down below in case you're interested in checking some of them out. But that's it. My name is Dennis. I'll see you next time.